Welcome to episode 140 of Fourth and John. I am Dale Saunders, aka Eagle Sessions, here with Hollywood Hearn, and this is the post-game podcast for the Eagles and Bengals game. It's ridiculous. At this moment in time, we're looking forward to some semblance of a championship or even a playoff contention football team. We don't even see a winning football team on the field at this moment. I mean, loser party of 53, your fucking table is fucking ready. That's some fucking embarrassing football, man. And it starts, I don't know where it starts with Doug Peterson. It also starts above. It's a fucking mess, dude. It's a fucking mess. And we're trying to sit here and be analytical, but obviously the fan in us is super upset. It kind of reminds you of the 2008 tie with the Cincinnati Bengals. At the time, Donovan McNabb was quarterback. Didn't know that we could tie at that moment. But a tie feels like an L to me, dude. A tie feels like an L. When you have the Washington football team and you have the Cincinnati Bengals in here, these are bottom barrel teams. And you can't even beat these guys, man. It says a lot about the football team. It says a lot about the leadership. It says a lot about, I asked for a man in the mirror moment. A man in the mirror moment for Carson Wentz. He showed us a little bit of something, a little too late, man. A little too late, $100 million quarterback, and we're seeing mistakes left and right. I don't know what is going on in Carson Wentz's head. It is ridiculous. Evan, how are you doing, my friend?
Bro, this is just like I don't even know how to wrap my head around this shit, man. Like the Eagles, what the hell is going on, dude? Like the complete regression of Carson Wentz, what we've seen so far this year, is unlike anything I've ever seen before. Like we've seen what Carson is capable of in the past, and he is so far from that at this point right now that like I don't know how to get him back there. I don't even know what the first step is in the right direction. Doug Peterson's play calling continues to be the most vanilla bullshit offense I've seen. JP was getting absolutely demolished all game long. This offensive line's trash. The quarterback is playing like trash. The defense is just god awful. And I look at Joe Burrow, a kid who I was saying before the podcast or before the game how he shows me flashes of 2016 Wentz. And honestly, dude, he was the way better quarterback in the game. The Bengals are a trash team. The Washington no-name football team is a trash team. And we have to come to reality that we are a trash team. We fight and claw with these teams. And these are teams that you're supposed to beat and beat easily. And we can't get out of our own way. Just the turnovers, man. The turnovers every single week. It's insane. And like, I completely understand everybody that is calling for heads right now. I understand you're calling for Doug's head. I understand people calling for Wentz's head, Schwartz's head, Howie's head, everybody. And it's all warranted right now because, quite frankly, this is unacceptable.
Looking at Prime's face, man. That looks like a face of a disheartened face, man. How you doing over there?
Not good at all, man. I'm just so tired, fucking frustrated. I don't even know what the fuck to say anymore, man. I went ahead and I rushed my baseball team to fucking come home to this bullshit. To this fucking bullshit, man. This is fucking ridiculous, man. It's frustrating. I guess I'm really even more and more pissed off because of like I sit here and I'm looking at all this fucking work I did for this fucking season for nothing. 0-2-1. What the fuck kind of record is that? We used to fucking clown other teams that had records like that. Now we're the ones getting clowned.
Yeah, and we're about to go through an even tougher part of the schedule, and we can't handle the Bengals or Washington, and we're gonna you feel confident against the Steelers or against the 49ers or like, dude.
I think like if Doug Peterson doesn't do anything ASAP, I'm talking like you need to. I need the Carson
Firings?
man in the mirror moment. Doug needs a man in the mirror moment. Like if you don't, you can't see that the fucking the roof is falling off, the hinges are falling off. Your left tackle made it to the third game of the season. We're shuffling players in and out. There is problems right now with this football team, and if they don't get it fixed right, and if they don't look at the leaders in the locker room, they should. I think on Monday there should be a players only meeting this early in the season. Like the leaders in this locker room need to step up and look at each other and like, yo, what is going on here? Like I did see some like, we've been questioning like moments where Ertz, had some issues in the beginning of the season, but when you see, Ertz looked like he was trying to win a football game at the end of the game.
Ertz played well. Dude, Ertz had some good plays, man.
One-handed catches, you name it. I think, again, we're dealing with injuries, and this feels like it's the Philadelphia Eagle way, but it's at the end of the day, it's embarrassing.
There's only a handful of players on this team that are playing hungry. I mean, it's evident out there. Everybody just not bringing any energy at all. I don't get, like, we talked about how, like, there's a lack of a leader in this locker room. There's no leader. And that's why I'm not confident that this is going to get turned around. We could talk about, this is what needs to happen. This is what needs to, it's not going to happen. And the Eagle, we have, like, in reality, this is we're looking at a top 10 pick this year. Like, that's our reality, is that we're like, I'm already looking at, I'm not eyeing up the draft right now, but what I'm saying is that is come January, our reality.
Now, its ambition is here. Well, first of all, shout out to all the fans that are in the chat and joining this podcast as well. So those who are listening to the podcast, we are going to interact with the fans on here, but its ambition is here. Says, why would you not go for the 64-yard field goal? We saw the same kicker come up with a huge kick to kind of right the season against the Giants. A couple more yards. First of all, Pryor, I don't know what the hell, bro. Like, make a fucking play. We're telling you not to go offsides. Give us a chance. I mean, do we just go for the kick? I don't like.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it with like 19 seconds left. He misses that. They got great field position, and it could show their complete lack of confidence in Jim Schwartz's defense. I mean, you look at T. Higgins, who was a guy. I talked about, like, the Eagles look at maybe they could get him in the second round. That obviously didn't end up happening. Dude, it's so poetic how we end up getting beat by players that we should have had. You know what I mean? Not saying T. Higgins, but I'm saying the linebackers as well, Logan Wilson, and it's bad, man. This isn't fixable.
Nate Gary looked like fucking shit.
I'm glad you said it. I'm glad you came in here and said, because I was gonna put you on the spot and be like, I want you to say it with your own mouth.
That's all right. I'm gonna say it. I'm a fool for fucking backing that piece of shit up. It's fucking ridiculous, man. Oh my god. And then these fucking assholes want to celebrate after one fucking play. Stop the fucking celebration. All right, keep the fucking momentum going. Win the fucking game, then celebrate all the fuck you want. You guys want to fucking celebrate because you stopped 2 yards. Fucking ridiculous, man.
Now Paul's overseas, and he's broken me mentally, and it's only been 3 weeks. I think as a fan base, you're kind of like, where do we go from here? Mm-hmm. Now, obviously you're a beat reporter, and you're not tied into the fandom of the Eagles. You're doing your job. But as a fan, like, where do you go when your job is really to be a fan? So at the end of the day, it's like, do we look at the progression of players? Do we look at draft picks? Do we look at what are we looking at here? I mean, if you look at the chat, it's either trade Wentz, trade for Foles. We're not doing any of that because if you trade Wentz, you know how much money we're eating there. Or I mean, there's no. To right the ship, we have to get right within. Lauren Hill said, if you ain't right within, I mean, how you gonna get right with what we've seen today?
That's the thing, man. It's not going to get right. This season's just going to get longer. It's all that's going to happen. I've like, how do you have hope in this team right now? I'm all for being a fan. Obviously, we're all Eagles fans till the day we die. That's not even a question. The question is, how do you have hope for this season? How do you have hope that they're going to turn it around? What have they shown you this year that shows you that they have any fight in them at all? That they can show up for a full 4 quarters one single time? I haven't seen it. I'm still yet to see it. We've played 2 absolutely trash teams and we're winless still.
I mean, there's no consistency. There's no rhyme or reason to the offense. I feel like I think Doug is like
drifting away from the run again against a team that is, you could beat them down with the run, and they were gashing them.
But my initial tweet this week to speak it into existence was Eagle fans seeing Doug Peterson commit to the run and the Eagles to get their first W of the season. It's like literally what I've been saying is like committing to the run doesn't mean you're running Miles Sanders. But when Miles Sanders is hot, right? Miles Sanders starts off with 3 runs and he's averaging like 7 yards a carry. Like his first 3 carries of the ball game, he had almost 30 yards on the day already. And I'm like, all right, there you're showing that Miles Sanders can get yards. For them to go away from that, like I would have like my game plan was not to make Carson Wentz a game manager, but my game plan was to make Carson Wentz a game manager, so he could get comfortable, rely on the run, get heavy with the run, and then play off with the play action. Because you saw, with our linemen being injured, I mean, you could run the football, dude. You could run the football. They've been gashed in the last couple of weeks. Why not stick with the run, dude?
Where was J-Jaw the entire game, too?
Man, fuck! I'm so tired of hearing that fucking clown's name, man. What was the news that I missed this morning? Sorry that my connection and everything, but what was going on with J-Jaw?
There was speculation that there was a straight-up trade for him and John Ross prior to the game.
I would have traded J-Jaw for just a holder. Right about it. Seriously.
Yeah. Man, I'm trying to keep up with these comments.
Got our man Birdman in the green room here.
Shout out to Birdman from the West Coast. How you doing, man?
Oh man, what do you mean? Oh, dude, where's my bat, bro? I need my bat. I'm about to knock some fools out right now, man. I'm tired of this shit. What is going on with our birds, man?
Bro, I think they have identity crisis, and they don't know who they are, dude.
Hey, and it make matters worse. I gotta watch Nick Foles bust 3 touchdowns in the 4th quarter.
Isn't that shit poetic, man? As we're getting stomped on by a team that has no business treating us the way they treated us today, that we're watching coinciding with Nick Foles taking over from Mitch Trubisky, marching down the field, and then overcoming a huge deficit.
Why are we trying to relive the McNabb 13-13 curse with the Bengals, bro? So we give it 10 extra points, 23-23? That
Look at that.
Now?
13-13, 2008.
Oh, you can't let go of McNabb, man. What the hell?
No, now if the Eagles lost, if they say they lost and they went for a kick and they lost, would you be more upset?
That was a lose-lose situation, because the tie doesn't feel any better than the loss at all.
At the same time,
but
I think they were worried about. I think they were worried about
the loss.
Yeah, I think that if we would have missed that field goal, Randy Bullock, who has a foot just as well, what I mean, you giving him the opportunity to go ahead and kick a field goal. So I think they were just, I don't know. I mean, I'm not trying to come up with no excuses, but that's the only reason why I see why they ended up doing what they did.
Dude, Zach Taylor's Bengals was 2-16 coming into this game. That's it. That's who we just tied right now.
Yep.
If you don't get it, we can stop it. I guess
that kid is a stud. You give that kid an O-line, he is a stud.
Oh, Burrow's going to be good, man. Stud. If you could give him, but that's no excuse for they're still a trash team in whole right now.
They have a trash secondary and they made our wide receiver core is just again another joke, another year of being a joke.
I mean, their secondary's not that bad. Their defensive line, they're missing Geno Atkins. I think that's where you gash it. That's where you take advantage of them right there. I think that's what you needed to do. And they didn't. They did it at periods of time, and they went away from it. And Miles Sanders seems like one of the only guys to make plays. I mean, Zach Ertz made a play. Greg Ward did step up and make some plays, but it's like, how can you not have guys step up? But then you have to look at the injuries. Again, we're dealing with Deshaun Jackson. What's the hamstring injury, dude? Like already, like it's like when you look at Howard Roseman and he's depending on older players to rely on. JP's hurt in the third game. Deshaun Jackson hurt in the third game. Jalen Reagor out for indefinite until he gets healed. That could be like another 3 weeks. You have one of your day 3 picks out there trying to make plays. He made a couple catches, but there's not a lot to look forward for, when you're thinking about this offense. Man, the comments are making me more depressed. I mean, super pissed to be an Eagles fan. Tara up in Canada, she's scared, fearful, cowardly, ineptitude. In the comments, we'd love for you Eagle fans to give us some scenarios how we right the ship. Like if you were a GM and you were going to put your GM hat, how would you right the ship with this football team?
Burn it down to the ground and then collect the insurance money. How about these season numbers so far for Carson Wentz? 58% completion percentage. He's got 512 yards, 2 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and 3 fumbles.
Did he have 5? He has 5 picks now, doesn't he?
He had 2 today. No, 6 picks. 6 picks. 6 picks.
And he had 7 picks last year. He had 7 picks the year before that, 7 the year before that, and 14 his rookie year. So I mean, he's on a pace.
Yeah, no, that's not updated. That's my bad. 6 picks. Yep. He's
on a pace to break his rookie record for interceptions. I don't know.
This is for the half tie, guys.
I hope you got enough to share, man.
This is for the 4th done, man. Salute to you guys.
Shout out to Aaron, man. Like Aaron's always repping out on the West Coast. It's been a long time. The last time I was with Aaron was when Wentz got hurt in the LA game.
Hooked it up with this nice mug before, man. I appreciate it.
That's the Aaron mug.
That is.
This is the homie. This is the homie Louis Blue right here. When you guys come out on the West, we're making tacos for you guys, man.
Damn,
oh yeah,
that's serious.
Wow, dude,
that's nice. God damn.
Next time you guys come out, we're gonna do it big.
Man,
that's what we need right now. Some comfort food, man.
Now I'm feeling this. Chris Davies says, give Sanders at least 30 touches this game and do something at linebacker. I mean, if you have to take a veteran linebacker street, do it.
Not bad.
I mean, if you look at our linebackers getting washed
every game, every game.
Washed.
No,
Can you get any worse? Can you get any worse?
28%. Again, man,
probably.
I'm still putting most of the blame on the offense because they can't get anything going. You know what I mean? They can't get anything going, dude.
They can't get open. They can't get open. Miles Sanders is not the answer to every single play. I mean, when the kid touches the ball, he does this thing. He makes moves. Then they go and give it to Byron Scott and Corey Clement, and they look pitiful. All they did was all their runs were just right back to the line of scrimmage. Sad, man. Sad.
Dude, look at their linebackers and see them making impactful plays in that game. But we've got a guy that we drafted in the 2nd round on the sideline. He played in 2. It doesn't make any sense why the Eagles drafted the way they have in recent years. If there's from the top to the bottom of this organization, there's people to blame, and it's just completely incompetent across the board.
Now, Joey says our biggest problems are receivers, O-line, linebackers, and Jalen fucking Mills. Dylan says, yeah, pay a linebacker instead of paying 3 DTs $10 million. I mean, the price that you're paying. I mean, obviously, we got some sacks today. They put up
BG showed up.
8 sacks today.
Yeah,
8 sacks.
8 sacks.
Josh got 1. Derek got 1. Fletch got 1. I think Brandon
Graham
got 2.
Yeah.
You ready for some? Y'all ready for some Sean Bradley and Davion Taylor at this moment?
I mean, what could we lose at this point?
Yeah.
Another football game, or we've been doing that already?
So I asked this question again. Do you go get Clay this week?
You are what?
No.
Do you go get Clay this week?
Clay's not the answer.
Clay.
I understand. What answer
Matthews.
do we have?
Clay. What's Clay Matthews going to do?
He's a linebacker, man. Guy's a lot more productive than.
But yeah, he would be a defensive end for us.
I'm just trying to figure something out. I'm ready to go and play.
It's the linebackers. We need linebackers. I mean,
we need Will Parks back like bad, man.
Yeah, we could use Will Parks back. You know what I mean? Like I feel like at this point in time, a linebacker that could be competent in space. You look at that play; it was like a 3rd down long, and Nate Gary's like out of position, and like if he just plays the zone, maybe he gets to play. You saw down by the goal line. I don't know if he was supposed to be back there on his side. He looked out of place. I don't know. Is he talking about Jordan Matthews? Oh, okay. Clay Matthews.
We could really end up being the last team in the NFC East this year, bro.
Bradham and Kendrick.
Yeah,
Brad. Do you really think that Bradham? I mean, Bradham is better than what we have, but what are you paying? Like at this moment, what's the percentage of a 0-2-1 football team doing something right now? They look defeated. They look defeated. I mean, one of the things that we were talking about pregame, we were talking about the matchups and our one of our main matchups.
Our key matchup.
Well, our key matchup was Carson Wentz versus Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz versus Carson Wentz because we knew that he's got to play the best version of himself, and he's outsmarting himself every week. What do you on here in the chat? What do you think Carson Wentz's biggest issue right now is?
Carson Wentz.
I'm saying, is it a confidence thing? Do you think he's thinking too much? What?
I think it's his confidence thing. I think that he's in his own head. It's very similar to me to what we saw in Nelson Aguilar that season. He had all the drops. I think he can't get out of his own head as far as mistakes, and that's not how you can play as a quarterback in this league. You have to be able to forget, and the thing is that he can't forget because every time he gets out there, he makes another mistake. Dude, I cannot believe that like how far he has fallen as far as like his talent. It doesn't make any sense to me.
I mean, the Miles Sanders throw, man, when he was wide open to take the game, we're just asking for touch here,
and it's not like, and it's not even like distance. Like that was an easy throw. And you remember, like, Doug Peterson and Jimmy Kempski ended up going at it after last week's game in the post game, and they're talking about. And he said to Jimmy Kempski, like, have you ever even played football? Saying how you don't know how hard it is to make that throw. I tell you what, man, if you're regarded as one of the elite players in this league, which you are not playing at all like right now, but if you're a competent quarterback in this league, you can nail a 10-yard wheel route, man. Like, Jesus Christ.
Now,
how do you miss it? How do you miss these balls?
Now, Rob says from YouTube says Carson has no confidence. Way overthinking things. I think you're seeing like when you see Carson Wentz start throwing his helmet, like Carson Wentz is starting to come out of his character. That's not he's done it a couple times before, but when you're talking about week 3 and you're talking about your leader. And the guy's throwing his helmet with the game is in on the line, dude. Like he's got an opportunity to like get this game right, and he's in a weird headspace. Shout out to Philly's finest. He joined us for the pre-game. He's back for the post-game for more Eagles talk. Welcome to the show.
What's up, fellas? What's up?
Dude,
Carson Wentz, he's in his head. He's and probing. He's not a pocket passer. Would you guys agree?
One more time. He's in his head. He's
not. He's not. We seen it today. I mean, he was more accurate when he was outside of the pocket, when he was scrambling, doing things on the run. That's what Carson's done. Even in 2017, when we want to go back to his MVP form, those were the biggest plays he had. Scrambling out of the pocket, making things up in his head, and then throwing things down the field. But even then, I was talking with friends of mine. He was still not accurate then. He was just throwing open to wide open guys who were 50, 60 yards down the field and just letting it rip. So now that he's got guys and they're like, hey, this guy can throw down the field, and when he gets out of the pocket, he can make those, Aaron Rodgers type miracle throws. They're dropping safeties, and it's becoming harder for him to do it. And he's not accurate, so what is he going to do? He can't do anything. It comes down to fundamentals. Look at the fundamentals. Look at the footwork. Look at the ball handling. Carson's always had an issue with the ball handling, keeping the ball outside of his body. I mean, I don't know what else he can do, and he doesn't have. Hey, Doug, you listening? He doesn't have an OC or a good quarterbacks coach to guide him and motivate him and kick him in his ass when he needs it.
I would love for a coach to, like, as soon as Carson walks in the locker room, he slaps him across his face.
That's what he needs.
In the name of Jesus. I need you to wake up, Carson, man. I really need you to wake up. And he had he came close at the very end, man. But you can't play an inconsistent 4 quarters of football.
Let me ask you guys, how do you feel about that contract now?
I mean, the contract, we can say that we hate it, but I mean, that's the norm.
I'm not saying that it's not the norm. I get why the Eagles signed that contract. I'm saying looking forward, looking for how many more years is he extended on this team? I think that was a 5-year extension plus what he already had. So, are you confident going forward with Carson for the next 5 years? I mean, I'm seeing a regression right now that's going to be a big issue.
Okay, so I was talking to a friend of mine during the game, during halftime, and I was saying to him that it's the Hurts effect. I think it's this factor that he sees a guy that the Eagles went up and got in a second round, and he's sitting on the deck waiting to come in. And he's in his head too much, and he's trying to do too many things. You've seen it every week. We see Carson trying to force the ball into slots, force the ball into positions, force the ball into receivers that he knows damn well he should not be throwing to. I mean, the first pick he threw today, come on. There's no way you make that throw. Yeah. There's no way. Yeah. And where were you planning on going? There was a linebacker there. Did you not go through your progressions and see the linebacker sitting in the middle of the field? He literally took 2 steps back and sat there and waited for you to throw the ball.
Yeah. I mean, and there was another play at the end of the game as well where Carlos Dunlap got his hands up and was able to swat the ball down. When he threw that ball, I was like, dude, Carlos Dunlap's hands have been up for 5 minutes, bro. You literally threw it right into his arms. I don't get what you're trying to what window you're trying to fit it in there. You're throwing it at a wall.
I mean, the eye bang is the thing with Carson. You see where he looks and he's going to throw. If there's a lane and he feels like it's open. That play to the linebacker, that could have the game could have been over there, But I've been seeing a lot of this in the chat.
Hey, Gil.
Like McNabb, and I feel like McNabb wasn't losing like this in this part of the
ask.
Get there.
How is it that we dismantled the coaching after the Super Bowl, and the Patriots get to keep everybody, but we have to dismantle our whole entire team? I don't understand that. We barely won our Super Bowl and we dismantled our whole coaching staff. That makes no sense to me, except for Jim Shorts, which is look how good.
Some of those guys were getting opportunities, so it's not like you're gonna hold right back from getting that opportunity with the Colts.
We're trying to win trying to win multiple Super Bowls. Not just we're not satisfied.
Yeah, but Reich is looking out for his own career as well. He wants to be a head coach, not a coordinator.
That's the thing that does happen. Like your team's going to get cherry picked after you win a Super Bowl. You just got to hope that guys are hoping. Like McDaniels is looking for an opportunity after Bill Belichick leaves. You know what I mean? So he's like, he feels like he can get that opportunity. You know, if Belichick didn't keep Daniels from going to the Colts, we would have still had Frank Reich, maybe. You know what I mean? So it's weird how things work out. But
okay,
I don't know.
Okay, that's the coaching. Now, why are you letting our players go? Why do you let Blunt go? Why do you do that?
I don't think Blunt fixes this team right now, though. Like I hear what you're saying, but like as far as like our problems are bigger than letting players go after Super Bowl. It's like our development of our players is the issue. We draft horribly and we develop our players horribly. Our medical staff is horrible.
No, I mean
it all adds up to disaster.
I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Drafting well. If you draft well, if you don't miss on Sidney Jones, you don't miss on Russell Douglas, you don't overpay for Darius Slay. You got to overpay when you bring in a free agent. I mean, if you hit on some D tackles in the draft, like I was all for Jeffrey Simmons. If you could have got a Jeffrey Simmons, you don't have to pay for a Javon Hargraves. Like the drafting has to get better. It's imperative. If you would have hit out on some late round running backs, other than we haven't hit out on a late run. You could say Corey Clement, undrafted free agent, but I'm talking about you wouldn't have to use a second round draft capital on Miles Sanders. It's year after year after mistakes that we made, not being able to draft a wide receiver, leaving a Metcalf on the board. J-Jaw not even fucking available, man. I want to know what is going on. What was the conversation on the field? Did anybody in the chat know what the conversation was? What happened with J-Jaw?
I really wonder if he's getting moved, man.
Who's J-Jaw exactly?
Yeah, I saw the video. It looked like he was it looked like he had some words from Howie. I guess somebody posted the video online. It looked like he had some words for Howie, and then somebody else stepped in and kind of put like a hand on his chest and kind of like pushed him away from Howie. And then next thing you know, he was walking into the locker room and Howie was walking off across the end zone. So
how does it happen?
This was in pregame warmups. So I mean, it's just you're just falling apart at the seams. I mean, everything is unraveling since 2017. I mean, I don't understand. I just don't get it. I like you said, I blame the drafting. I mean, Howie does not know how to draft. If you look at the people that left the scouting and recruiting front office, and they all left and went with Joe. They left and went to New York. So we had to go and get new guys to come and fill these slots. Who were they hired by? Howie Roseman, who is not a football analyst. He's not a person who knows X's and O's. He's not a person who can develop a team. So
we still have Andy Weidel, so I mean
that's it.
And I'm thinking that they're like, all right, well, that's remnants of Joe Douglas. We still have Andy Weidel in the building, but again, man, you have to really evaluate the talent. You have to look forward to the draft. I mean, seeing JP can barely get up, and Deshaun Jackson. I saw a meme out there with Deshaun Jackson where they made him old, like super old. And I don't want to put it out there on the timeline because I was like, man, this is some. I don't want to put.
His mom would have.
Hey, Prime, what's up, man? I know you got to go to work to that warehouse with that Washington fan, man. I think you're thinking about that a lot.
Yeah, I still owe him $20 for last week's game because I bet him on that one. Yeah.
Oh damn, man!
It's just bad, man. It's just bad in general. I don't know this whole situation with J-Jaw, but regardless if he leaves or not, what's it going to do for us?
Man. Hey,
I'm so flustered right now.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Looking in the chat, I mean, I've been seeing a lot of this. I've been a fan of Wentz since the beginning. I understood that he may have some difficulty in the transition from college to pro, the injury, the regaining of his confidence. But after today, I'm done. A lot of fans right now at this moment are done with what they're seeing.
Should we go through some of the emails as well? If it's sent into fourthandjohn@gmail.com. If you want to send over a video or write something out, let us know. First one's from Kevin Trump. No relation. The fact that this dump of an organization allows this product to see the field week in and week out says a lot about how big our britches from the Miracle Run straight from the Disney Channel. GM gone, DC gone, assistants gone, QB gone, clean house now. That seems to be the general vibe of what's going on. People just want to watch this organization burn right now. I mean, people want blood, and I get it. I totally get it. This team is playing like complete trash, and there needs to be big changes made. This isn't like like we've been talking about. This isn't a J-Jaw problem away from being fixed. We have so many holes on this team. We're sinking fast.
Yeah.
Maybe John, who's waiting in the green room, can tell us how we fix Philadelphia Eagles. Welcome to the stream, John.
What's up, fellas?
What's up, man?
John, what's going on?
I hear what you guys are saying. I tend to disagree with the whole sentiment. I think this team has talent, and a lot of the talent is actually injured. We're losing three. We lost 3 linemen. We have a receiver who opted out. Defense. I we'll get better as the season goes on. I mean, obviously we have a lack of talent at linebacker, but I don't support us doing anything drastic.
Now, do you sense like when you have like missing pieces and you have like some minor questions at the table where it's either play calling or some of the leaders in the locker room not stepping up and making plays, who do you put the blame on? Like, I feel like you are dealing with. I think
that's 2 different things. I think it's 2 different things. One, you evaluate if you have enough talent. The other is coaching. I think there's the serious problem with coaching.
Oh yeah, that's what
Doug has been off. In this game, he had a chance to have a redemption game as far as his play calling, but like Wentz is out of it. Like, how do you call plays for Wentz right now? You can't. He has no confidence. He's deer on the receivers. All the linebackers and cornerbacks and safeties know where he's throwing. We have a lot of young receivers who can't get open. You're not playing a run enough to set up the play action pass.
Exactly.
So you want to drop back, but you have left tackle who's like chicken. He's like chicken over there. It's like barbecue chicken on the left side. So you got to worry about those things. But big ups to like Nate Herbert and Matt Pryor. I think they held up really well at guard. As far as young guys coming in like next man up, I think they did well.
I think the one thing I want to do is keep moving forward with Miles Sanders and make it, have the game plan revolve around his skill set, and then go off the play action. If you have to bring in another tackle just to, sure, because we're missing some targets on the outside. Obviously, a hamstring. I don't think that's going to be a 1-week injury. That could be a potential injury.
Dougie needs to man up. Sit Ertz. If you can't block, we bring in Dick Rod. Get Dick Rod and Goddard. Let's go 12, and we're going to go spread it out wide. And we're going to run the ball. Ertz, if you want in on this, you got to block. Come back. On 11 personnel, 13, whatever. Even 12 went on a passing route. Let's 3rd and long. Bring him in. Ertz. Ertz. I think Evans said Ertz played a great game. I think he played an average game for his talent and his paycheck. But I mean, it's what should be expected. I think the greatest thing that I saw today, like Prime has said a couple times, we have a CB1. I mean, it wasn't like shut down, lockdown, but you have a corner to go out there and I know AJ Green is a little old, but he was pretty good. I think he was pretty good. Slay is definitely an upgrade. But hey, if you guys think we should burn it down and go for the insurance money, hey, I think we have enough talent. I think we're underestimating how many injuries we have.
But I mean, you have to at the end of the day start holding people accountable for mistakes, because we're talking about putting on your GM cap, and if you're Jeff or if the owner cap and you're Jeffrey Lurie, what kind of conversations are you having with Doug And what kind of conversation are you having with Howie?
I think one thing that was actually a good move by Howie this offseason that was kind of like unforeseen as to what was going to happen was the whole Marquise Goodwin trade. I think Marquise Goodwin, if he was in this offense right now, that he would be helping out a ton. And, obviously the Eagles can't predict that he's going to end up opting out for the season. So I think their head was in the right space there. He fits the offense with the speed. But like that, I think we're really starting to feel like that loss here. Like that was a guy we were anticipating during the offseason going into the season with. And it's being felt right now because we have to lean on rookie wide receivers.
Well, I mean, I think it's being felt across the board. I mean, because we're feeling it at every position. I mean, every position we have some serious injuries going on. I mean, look across the board on offensive line from day one. We lose 2 guys from the jump. And then you got to bring in, Jason Peters, the bodyguard, to kind of be a Band-Aid and fill something. I mean, which he's not going to do. You can't tell me who's behind any of our linebackers. I mean, from the minute when you started this thing, we've been injury prone. So I mean, it's not going to look good going forward.
Yeah. And to not go into this season with any depth, you know what I mean? Knowing that those injuries are going to exist, and to go in as thin as we are at all these positions, like.
Yeah, I think somebody said it earlier when they were talking about how he likes to bring in these veteran guys, but these veteran guys come with a litany of injuries. Yep. I mean, so what are you going to do if you're going to bring in veteran guys? And I have nothing against that, bringing in the leadership. That's what Doug likes to have. He likes to have he's a player coach. He likes to have players that run the team. I'm cool with that, but at the same time, let's get some guys in here who haven't been sitting on the sidelines with a leg brace or a set of crutchers for the last 2 or 3 seasons. I mean, come on. Like, you bring in D-Jax and everybody's like, oh, D-Jax is going to be great. He's out right now with a hamstring. And the last time he had a hamstring on our team, if we remember correctly, he was out 6 games. Like, it doesn't look good. It doesn't. No. I don't see how we can, what we're going to be looking at. Now, there's some positives. There's Miles Sanders. You got the positive in that.
Sure.
Like you were just saying, El, let's build this offense around him. I mean, if that's the case, let's make it work. But once again, that means that we have to entrust that Howie is going to bring in the correct personnel to get it done.
Yeah.
Now, are we talking about bringing in Cody Glenn at this point? Perhaps, if you're going to have to
after watching Peters get abused today, I don't know how you don't consider that.
Bro, there are some plays out there.
I mean, if
you can't throw Mailata out there, dude. You can't stick Mailata out there for the rest of the season.
Mailata's not ready.
Yeah,
he's not. Yeah, he's not.
When is he ever going to be?
Mailata's not an He's not.
I heard a report at the start of training camp that he had, after being with this organization for the last couple of years, that he had just realized what his position was as far as what he needed to be doing on each play within the playbook. And I was just astounded. I mean, I don't get it. I don't understand it. Yeah, just abused.
Like, I mean, what do you say to that? I mean, he's getting looking
all game long, man.
And I mean, like, I get it. I mean, he's in his 17th year. He's 38. I mean, come on. Like, I mean,
but now, like, think about how that whole stink that he made about I want more money to play left tackle. How silly that looks right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, come on, bro.
Absolutely.
You're trying to milk us dry, and this is what you're gonna give us, man? Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So y'all really gonna go ahead and go pay this man more money?
Yeah.
What, to get a fancier knee brace or something? Like,
yeah. I mean,
well, it's all incentive based, so obviously I think they covered their tracks. But that's where it is. Like, we're living on a prayer, halfway there. With old linemen, you can't say enough about a guy like Brandon Brooks. If we had a Brandon Brooks in there, solidify the interior. Like, if you're going to talk about Carson Wentz in the pocket and him stepping up and feeling confident, and his throws, his mechanics, and stuff like that. That's one thing. Like, having a Brandon Brooks, that would probably solidify that. But again, making that much money, I'm not making excuses for Carson Wentz when you have to step up and make a throw in the pocket. Those are big boy throws. When you get the money, man, you got to make those throws. There's no excuses. Now, the one thing I want to talk about, right?
But Matt,
we're talking about like going. we're talking about trying to win the game, right? At the end of the game, right?
Yep.
If you're Carson Wentz, right? You see they bring in Jalen Hurts off the sideline. Well, like we're trying to win the ball game. You think if you took Aaron Rodgers off the football field, you took a Brett Favre off the field, you took Tom Brady off the field to put another quarterback in for some trickery, how would you feel? Like, what would that make you feel?
And that's what I was saying earlier. Yeah. It's the Hurts effect. It's that mindset that, like you just said, he's coming in off the field when, you know, Wentz is actually producing something. He's giving you something, and you take him out to do a little trick play that you probably maybe ran 3, 4, 5 times at practice and training camp. And how is he going to, like you said, how is he sitting on the sidelines feeling? He's like, wait a minute, I'm the $100 million man, and I'm sitting on the sidelines for a second-round pick, like.
I'm telling you,
how snake bitten did you guys feel when Hurts put that ball on the ground? I was like, Jesus Christ, man! Like we cannot catch a freaking break.
Yeah, and the same people that wanted Hurts probably would have went back and said, "No, I won't bet back."
Yeah, they all took a big gulp. Yeah, it was done from there.
No, but it totally happened having Hurts being thrown in that game completely throws Wentz out of a rhythm, and it's been so tough for Wentz to find a rhythm in the first place. You know what I mean? He's only gotten going a handful of times so far this season, and so when he gets in that rhythm, don't throw Hurts in there, man. You're throwing off the whole vibe.
Yeah, they're picking the wrong times to do these trick plays, and that kills his confidence.
Well, that's like John was just saying in the beginning. It goes back to the coaching, man. It's coaching. I mean, this is what it is.
Now, Tight732 from Twitter, he makes a comment that I've been hearing a lot. He says, "Hit the reset button. We are an old, talentless team." And you know, there's a part where I do see the old part, but I do see a talented squad, and the tight ends are talented. I feel like, you know, you have some young. If Rager comes back healthy, I think some of the linemen on the back end, we're getting to see some guys actually held up the last 2 weeks. Herbig. Has been a nice little surprise. I mean, Driscoll came in first game and was a surprise. But I'm talking about, like, if you have an orchestra, right? And he's the conductor is conducting the orchestra, and you might have guys that or musicians that are out of tune. You got to find the players that are out of tune and get them out of there, or make sure that they're all on the same page, making beautiful music. If you can't find a way to make them work, then it's on the coach. So I feel like,
I agree with you, Gail. It's definitely on the coaches. And John, I agree with you too. Like, I really want to build off of that confidence that you got. We have the talent. Yes, our injuries was killing us, but regardless, we still have the talent. Next man mentality should have been our thing going into this year. These guys should have been stepping up. I mean, I'm looking at some of these plays, and these guys can't break away from these cornerbacks for shit. Now, you're right. If they would stick with these play-action plays and build that confidence where they're going to bring that defense in, worrying about the run, and then you get them on a stupid play and send it out to a receiver. But we can't even do that because we go in there with a fucking game plan, and then we get away with it eventually. Like, it just fucking sucks.
Well, it's that domino effect, man.
That's the shit that pisses me off.
It's that domino effect, man.
I didn't see a game plan.
Yeah, it's a domino effect. I mean, Doug wants to do more play action with Carson. He likes to get him out of the pocket, but he can't. It's a trickle effect. You don't have blocking on the offensive line, so you can't run the ball the way you want to run the ball. So when you want to run the ball down the throat on first down, you can't get the 2, 3, 4, 5 yards. You're getting 1 and 2 and 3 yards. So now you're putting your play action automatically. Now your play action is not working because the defense already knows that you're going to have to pass because it's 2nd and 9.
Yeah.
Like, so how do you respond when we don't have protection? Drop back and do a draw. If they're rushing or end, you give it to Miles Sanders after you do a 3-step back, you look up, and then, like, their ends are rushing, you give it to Miles Sanders and let them go for some holes.
I mean,
but then the ends can't rush so fast they have to cover Miles Sanders.
I mean, when you're at this point, this is where you're going to have to come up and be creative with the plays. This is the only way we're going to get better. And if Peterson is still struggling, that offense looked terrible. It looked like it had no rhyme or reason, and it wasn't working. Now, Facebook has a comment here. He says, Taysom Hill and Breeze, they figure it out. Vic and McNabb figure it out. Maybe in Dakota they're Charmin soft. I mean, but from this quote here, Taysom Hill's about to take over that quarterback position.
Yeah.
Vic took over that quarterback position from McNabb. That's why it's weird. Having Jalen Hurts here.
Yeah, sitting in the batter's box, man.
It's weird. And I like when back with the 49ers and Steve Young and Joe Montana, they brought in Steve Young. They were mixing and matching Steve Young and Joe Walsh. I mean, Walsh was mixing and matching with Steve Young and Joe Montana.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like he brought him in to light a fire under Montana. Like I don't feel anything wrong with lighting a fire under Wentz, but then you're like, well, if your confidence is going to break, I don't know, bro.
Yeah.
Hill is a matchup problem, and Sean Payton knows how to exploit that. Hurts technically could be he's a rookie though. We can't have a conversation about Hill and Hurts because one's a rookie, one's a veteran, and then the Payton and Hill have a few years together trying to work it out. Now potentially Peterson can understand how to use Hurts as a matchup problem and exploit the defense, but I don't think we should expect that this year. I do think that with the way Wentz is playing, I think that they need to give Hurts the whole series. Like if you guys are saying like it's the Hurts effect, that's no excuse for me. It's no excuse. One is you haven't shown me rhythm. You guys are saying like, oh, it's throws off of the rhythm. I'm like, well, when did he have rhythm? I don't understand. He's throwing balls long, he's throwing balls short, he's throwing interceptions. He got lucky in the first half because he should have been sacked several times. He spun out of him. He's not throwing the ball away when he should. For the first half, there was nothing that said to me that Carson Wentz is a productive NFL quarterback. The only improvement he had, there weren't any. What do you think? When he dropped turnover, he didn't turn the ball over. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
I think they overselling Wentz. He's not that strong of a personality. He's been coddled by backup quarterbacks in the past. He didn't have to lead the locker room because you had Peterson and you have Malcolm Jenkins. Now you get rid of Malcolm Jenkins. Jason Peters has been like he wasn't here this summer, and you're like, Wentz, now's your time to shine. They should have known. You got to read your player. He's not the man. He could be a player, and he's not the man. So you got to find some leadership to supplement Wentz, and then you have to make a decision and support that. If you try to get the leadership out of Wentz that he doesn't have, you continue to have problems.
And I think this is the weird point in the season where, as an organization, they're like, all right, well, we're going to continue to see what Wentz has. We're going to keep on putting him out there. And we paid him to be the man. So you have to play this out. And that's the part where the organization, the front office, has to look at Lurie and be like, if they backpedal off of any of those moves, they all look bad. So it's like their jobs are on the line. So they're all trying to protect themselves. So they're gonna keep up the same old script. So it's like, at this point in time, now if you guys, who's more on the hot seat, Doug Peterson, Carson Wentz, or Harry Roseman?
For me, it's honestly Carson, man. I think Carson, you look at just the fact that he's already got a guy that they drafted the second round behind him. There's no guy that is waiting in the wing for either Doug or Howie. You know what I mean? Carson's already got a guy that's looking over his shoulder, and his confidence is not there, and he's playing like garbage. And I think that he out of those three, he's got the hottest seat underneath him.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, Howie, right now, we're all upset at Howie because he just doesn't know how to draft. Other than that, what other reason could we really be mad at him? Carson making stupid plays, playing scared. And then Doug Peterson is just like, I don't know, is it me? But I feel like we're seeing the same plays all game long.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, I mean, I'm not a professional, but I could pick up on, like, it's like you already know, like, oh, shit, he's about to run this play. And it's not going to work. And long and behold, it doesn't work, and it's like you got to sit there and deal with it. Like, oh, what? That's how I feel all game.
And not for nothing, I think one thing that hasn't been talked about at all, we totally got away with one too. The Boston Scott fumbled that ball, bro. No, that was a fumble. Bro. That was a fumble.
It could have went either way.
It got blown dead, but they blew that whistle way too early, dude. That was a fumble.
But yes, it could have went
Forward progress.
Yeah, I
Now,
know.
I get it.
So look at this. This is this one crossed my mind while I was watching the game. I would just imagine if the Eagles are catching serious L's. If the Eagles were in position to draft, would you say no?
No. We do. All right, so we got $100 million quarterback. We drafted a quarterback last year in the second round, and then we're going to use our first round pick to draft Trevor Lawrence. What sense does that make?
I'm not going after Sunshine.
Yeah. I was gonna say I'm not tanking for Goldilocks.
Yeah, I'm not.
I'm saying if they had caught a series of L's where they're in a position to like draft Lawrence, would you say no? That's the question.
No.
Yeah, no. I mean, you got to, if we're at that point and we're that far in to where we're, we're sitting at the bye week and we're 0-8. Oh my goodness. I mean,
if a real QB factor.
If that's the case, if that's the case, I mean, I had this conversation with a friend. If that's the case, you're coming back from the bye and you're probably looking at Jalen starting at some point in time, if not already. So you're going to bank on, is he the future?
It's so funny that we talk about how they were a QB factory coming out of this offseason. That's what they say. And you know what's another funny thing from the offseason to think back? And we got so fired up as a fan base over Carson Wentz being excluded from the NFL Top 100. Is he even in the NFL Top 300 right now? I don't know, dude.
See, I mean, the whole QB, because there's been so many. There's been so many signs of things that have been going wrong in the last couple months, like the whole QB factory, the draft, first drafting him and then saying QB factory, and then like
that reeks of dream team.
Yo, none of that sat well with me at all. And I remember at the time I was like, bro, like, what are you doing, man? Like you're actually seeing. I mean, when the thing that bothers me the most is when you see picks in the second round and third round actually putting in work. I mean, look at Logan Wilson, a linebacker who's we were kind of looking at in the third round. Look at T. Higgins out there. He was showing out today. Another guy. And then look at Justin Jefferson. Also had a great day. Obviously, Rager's hurt. And he's already flashed. But it's just like when you see productive draft picks all around the league, that's what angers me, because that's the only way we get better. Is young draft talent, rookies, second-year players that are giving something to this football team. Because
I get more and more pissed off seeing DJ Metcalf doing his shit, doing 3 receptions for 81 yards, and we end up with JJ.
That really. I don't know if it's me or if it's just me. Are you guys physically not well after watching that football game?
Nah.
Yes.
I'm in a bad place, bro.
Yeah. I'm very bad place.
We got 13 more weeks, bro. I can see this. I can see if we had like 3-4 more weeks. We got 13 more weeks of this shit. I got to deal with this shit for 13 more weeks. I got asked last night if we go 0-6. I got to shut this cave down for the rest of the year.
Because we're a different kind of breeding here. Because I think we attract the crazy fans in here. Because that's what we are, right? At the end of the day.
At the end of the day, we are crazy fans.
And you kind of like try to like, all right, how do I move on this week? How do I got? Prime's thinking, how do I got to dance around this old?
Yeah, I think I might need to move something around here.
Because people are gonna be talking shit to you at work. I'm like, I already took Monday off. I was like, let me just take Monday off. I got some days off. Like, I just need to get in the right frame of mind to think about this football. It's not a good space. I'm really like, it's like you're disappointed. You're like, what is this? Like, are you guys even family anymore? Like, if you went to a football game and your family's out there playing, like, I don't feel any connection to this football team at this moment. Mm-hmm. I don't.
I took all the footballs out of my room.
Yeah.
And run.
I mean, dude, I got friends that are fans of all different NFL teams, and just like not being able to you can't clap back at all when your team's playing the way that you're playing. You have to sit there and take that shit on the chin, and like they're just blowing up my phone, just trying to make me rub it in, put salt in the wound. I'm just like, yeah, dude, we got a shit team. I don't know what else to say. It is what it is.
I gotta stay quiet, man. I haven't stayed this quiet in the first 3 weeks.
You have to stay quiet. You got to be humble.
Yep.
You can't talk in this period.
We got a whole humble pie, man, not just a piece.
Yeah.
I listened before our second game today because I had a doubleheader before our second game in the huddle before the game. I said we got to go in there and we got to 10-run rule these guys so I could get home or get in the car to at least catch kickoff. My guys did their thing. We ended up winning 13-3. For what? I'm doing like 80 trying to get home for this shit. Shit's sad, man.
Now Cody says from Facebook, he says, I don't think we have the same coach next season if we continue this brand of football. Do you guys agree or disagree?
If we continue at this trend, totally possible.
Yeah,
I mean, what are we looking at? There's a difference. I mean, like, what are we looking at as far as a record? If he goes 0-8 into the bye week, I mean,
that's inexcusable. It's inexcusable.
Yeah.
Now, Final Jet from YouTube chimed and he says, we got the 49ers, Steelers, and the Ravens coming up. High chance of a 0-5-1 happening.
It's sad.
High.
Dude,
high.
We scratched and clawed against the Bengals, man.
Yeah.
Against Washington. We gave up 27 unanswered points.
Yeah.
What about this team shows you that they're going to even compete with any three of those teams?
I know
3 points.
deal with injuries. That's the only thing that I can even say.
Dude, I'm in a place with this play call and the way that Carson's just missing open throws. Like, even if these guys are back on the field, if Carson Wentz can't be accurate, what does it matter who's on the field? If you have a wide receiver that's open and he misses the ball 10 yards above his head, is that it doesn't matter if Odell Beckham's out. It doesn't matter.
Now, Stay Woke from Twitter says Wentz needs to see a QB guru or something.
Yeah. I wish John Gruden didn't have a football team to worry about. He could throw him in the QB room, man.
No, that's the thing. I think that there's a mess in the offensive coordinator room. You got Doug who's calling plays, and you have a bunch of like consultants. I think that this
too many cooks in the kitchen.
That's the biggest thing Howie could say. You say like, all right, 2 of you got to go. If it's Marty Mortenweg or Press Taylor, whoever it is, 2 of y'all got to go. We get an offensive coordinator, somebody who's one voice who could bounce things off of Peterson. If Peterson wants to play, be like Andy Reid, be class happy, you got one voice that says, no, we need to run the ball.
Yeah, and speaking of voices, we got 47 captains on this team, and none of them have a voice. You know what I mean?
Who's not gonna have a voice?
Nobody that comes in there and commands the locker room.
I didn't see anybody playing like they're. Well, I do give Wentz one thing. So it does mean something. So later in the game, in the second half, when he started to run the ball and he wasn't like sliding, it's refreshing to see. Even if you're not playing well, it means something to you that you're trying to go for first downs, you're trying to run out of bounds, you're trying to make plays. So that's the biggest thing about a player. It has to mean something to you, and then the talent comes second. So the positive thing for me to take away from Wentz, it means something to him. Hopefully, he get his head right. But listen, I think it's a chance to give Deuce Staley a bigger voice.
Well, who's got an idea over here? Ted has a big idea. He says, here's an idea. Get us a real GM. That stuff about working the cap is BS. Someone else can crunch the cap. I've heard some wild theories over the last couple weeks, because people just start spouting stuff off, and I just sit there and read it because it's my job to like drum up conversation and see what the fan base is talking about. Someone say Brian Baldinger.
No.
For a GM. I also saw Louis Riddick for a GM position. I
like Louis Riddick now. He comes from a great school.
And he was here. He was here under Howie. So I feel like a lot of people are – because this is what people are talking about. They're starting to look – if the team's not giving you answers, right?
Yeah.
The fans start looking around like, all right, well, how do we right the ship ourselves? Like, because we're sitting here 0-2-1. We're trying to figure it out, and it's kind of difficult at this moment.
Yeah, and another thing that hurts. I mean, Roman brings up Andre Dillard, and like in the mess of this entire season, obviously we're missing him. But let's not forget the fact that this is another year of development that he's missing as well. So he's going to come out next season another year behind, and we're just going to hope we're going to throw him in front of Wentz and hope that he can perform. But who the hell knows?
They say he's taking mental reps. That's what you're injured.
Mental reps. I'm about to take a mental rep off the Ben Franklin.
Yeah, that's a Zoom meeting.
Don't do it.
So right now, if we're gonna go around the room in the chat, we're gonna start off with Tight 73. His post, he says Wentz is a problem. Is that the elephant in the room right now, or is it Doug is the problem?
Nah, it's Wentz, man.
If we're gonna,
they're both a problem. Don't get me wrong. They both deserve blame, but I'm more concerned about Wentz.
I would have to agree, definitely. I mean, because we've seen Doug be able to adapt when Wentz went down in that Super Bowl run. I mean, he was able to adapt the offense around a quarterback. So I mean, I don't understand. Can you not get an offense to work around Wentz and what his skill set is and what he likes to do? I don't understand. Like you said before, we're running the same vanilla stuff. I mean, it doesn't even look like we're making any adapts or changes when we come out after halftime. Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing. Like, why are you trying to run a screen pass when you know that they're looking for that? I mean, I just don't get it.
It gets blown up every time. Like, I wonder what our tell is on offense, because that we get sniffed out immediately.
It's his eyes.
Yeah, it's two eyes.
When he's looking at Miles Sanders in the backfield, and he's like basically with his eyes saying, "You ready? You ready? I'm gonna throw it right to you. You ready?"
I mean, we've been talking about the eye bang for multiple episodes for multiple years. Carson Wentz, the eye bang has been an issue for a long time. He'll look in a direction, and then if you think about it, the defensive players in the NFL, they share tips. They're like, "Yo, what does Wentz do? He eye bangs his receivers, and look where he's throwing." Probably, you talk about Darby, he probably was giving off tips to some of his players, like, "Yeah, this is what he does in practice," and there he goes. They picked him off in the first game. But look at this comment right here. Patrick Lawson from YouTube says, Josh McCown for OC. Didn't they offer him the position?
Yeah, he decided he wanted to go ahead and be a quarterback.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. I don't know, man.
Something with this structure has to change. I mean, I'm starting to get that same Chip Kelly's taking over as GM sense right now.
We need a new voice in the room. We need someone to come in here and rejuvenate and be like, "Hey, listen, you guys are doing this same bullshit and expecting a different result every week. How about this? How about we try this?" We need someone new to come in. And
you know who should be going crazy?
Jaws is GM. Look at Carmen from the top rope. Jaws is GM. Old school here. Roman says both. He says Paul says Doug and Howie. Jeremy says Doug and Wentz. A lot of both big time. Doug decisions at the end of the game showed us the ultimate weakness.
Ultimate.
I don't know, man. The Tide, man. I don't know if it's an OCD thing, and just seeing like a 1 at the end, that shit fucks me up.
Ultimate. I mean, how do you take? I mean, you just basically get the penalty, and yeah, you're deflated by the penalty, but I mean, you're still in a chance to be able to kick a field goal. I mean, it would have been what, like 63-yarder? I mean,
64, isn't that the longest one in NFL history? Like, no, I totally agree with you. You take the shot.
I mean, yeah, you take the shot. You know, I mean, I was watching his press conference before I jumped on, and he was saying that he didn't want to, you know, he didn't want to give them the opportunity to, if we missed, to have the ball at that position. Yeah. But I'm like, well, then you're playing to be scared, which goes against everything that you've been telling all of this Eagles Nation since you've gotten here. That you're going to be aggressive, you're going to put you're going to put the team on your back and do things in an aggressive nature, and then you decide to bow out and kick a punt like a punk.
Now on this play here, I mean, Todd, you mentioned Wentz showed some heart here. It was a little too late.
Yep,
a little too late.
I mean,
help my fantasy.
like Wentz had I remember one drive where he really found rhythm. There was that run, but other than that, like that was the only existence of Wentz playing well in that entire game. So that complete inconsistency, like you need more of that. That's great that he made a good play and dove for the end. Like that's awesome. But you know what? I need it for 60 minutes.
And for me, I was like that's the no fear Wentz I'm looking at. Like the game is up because if you look at that play at the goal line where they kind of like they struggled, they kicked 3. There was an opportunity for him to run there, and he didn't. Like this is like he was like balls to the wall. I'm going for it. Game is on the line. I need to see more no fear Wentz, and I don't need the deer in the headlight Wentz. I don't need the I'm not confident because Jalen Hurts is on the sidelines. The one thing that I keep going back to, like everyone keeps telling me, and all the stuff I've been reading about Jalen Hurts and all what the players say about Jalen Hurts, he's one of the most well-liked guys on the football team he's played on. He's a coach's kid, and a lot of players, I don't know, they gravitate to Jalen Hurts. I don't know if that is going to be an issue. He was thrown with Deshaun Jackson. Game report. I don't know. Like, I don't know Carson Wentz. We obviously don't know Carson Wentz personally. We know the stories that we've heard. The Joe Santoliquito article about Carson Wentz.
I wonder if Carson misses ducks as far high as he does footballs, man. When he's out there hunting, I wonder if his aim is just that bad across the board.
Well, I'm at the point where someone reached out to like, yeah, I know you're a crazy Eagle fan. You want Wentz's address? I was like, nah, I'm good. He's like, all right, just let me know anyway. Yeah. I'm at this point where I'm like, yeah, it's like, bro, like, what is going on? Like, you want to go to Taco Bell, just kick it, talk some football, have some tacos, man. Just mano a mano. Just what's going on with you, bro? It's at this point in the season. We got questions, man. We got a lot of questions, and there's a lot of questions in the comments.
Let me ask you guys something. Put y'all on the spot. When was the last time you felt full confidence in Carson Wentz?
Yeah.
Damn, it got quiet in here.
I would say the Seahawks game. I thought he was riding the high. I felt like, man, I had the best seats of my entire life. 40-yard line. To watch him walk by in the start of the first quarter, I'm like, this is the worst day ever, dude. Like, it's playoffs. I think it's been downhill ever since then. I think he's been challenging himself internally. And then they draft a quarterback. But, it's been a long time since we've seen, like he had a great end of the season last year. But
yeah, no, he tied it together at the end of the season. But it was another one of those situations where, if we had that all season long.
I mean, I have to agree with Daryl, man. It's got to be that the end of the season last year. I mean, the Washington game was probably, in my opinion, one of his best games that he's played. I mean, just from the leadership standpoint. Right. I mean, forget the stats, but just what he did from a leadership standpoint and basically willing that team, to get a win. I mean, so after that, I was feeling confident about going into the playoffs. I was loving where we were at going into the playoffs last year. I mean, I thought we could at least make a pretty deep run just based on what he was doing and the way he was playing. I was like, man, they always say you want to get hot during the postseason.
It was the right time
like,
for sure.
Yeah, I felt like he was the hottest quarterback coming into the postseason. And then it just clowny. The clowny train. Just
Now, Kathy makes a point. She says they're putting all their eggs in one basket, and Wentz is holding it. And I said it. I said to Evan, I said, "Yo,
good line."
I said, if Wentz lays another egg, I'm gonna start. We're gonna have to call him a chicken because that's 3 eggs he's laid in the last 3 games. I mean, man.
I mean, I don't even know if they're eggs at this point. I think they're probably like all broken up into a bowl, scrambled for breakfast. I mean, we can't keep a person on the field. So I mean, what eggs do we have to cook with? I mean, come on.
Eric from Facebook, progression. Is this a keyword that is going through the minds of all your heads and the timeline?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you can't watch his first 3 weeks and think that he's not regressing.
I mean, that's the thing that angers me. It's just like I've never seen someone regress so quick.
Yeah.
The question is not
from such a level to like where he's at now.
Yeah. Well, the question becomes, it's not, is he regressing? Because we all know that he is. It's what is causing the regression. Yeah. What is it? I mean, that's what we have to look at. Is it just him? Is it the fact of the coaching? Is it the fact of the injuries and then we don't have players and pieces around him? Is it a combination of all of it? I mean,
that's where the coaching also catches blame. Like they're got
Kareem from YouTube who says we have too many injuries for us to be a good team right now. Now, do you guys agree? Like he talks about too many injuries for us to be a good team. And that kind of relates to multiple players. But like if you put it on Wentz and say if Wentz has a great 3 games or even average at best games, where do we sit? Are we 3-0? Or because you talk about the injuries, but that offensive line held up in the second game versus the Rams.
No. This is how you answer that question. So in the 3 games that we had, if you had Barnett the first 2 games, if you had Dillard these 3 games, you had Samalo today, Brandon Brooks these 3 games, would our record still be 0-2-1? I say it wouldn't be 0-2-1. So for me, the biggest problem we have this year is injury. Now, injuries occur in football. You have to have depth to overcome them, but it doesn't take away. That's the major problem that we have.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a big factor. I mean, just coming out of the gate. I mean, you had every press, analysis and media person talking about the fact that once again, starting the season, the Eagles are hit with the injury bug again. I mean, and we're just losing guys like dominoes. I mean, so it's definitely a factor. I totally agree with you, John. I don't know if we would be sitting here at 0-2-1 with, even the offensive pieces as far as our offensive line guys. I mean, just give me those guys and I'll play with a Ward and a Barnett and, a Hightower. Give me those guys on the line and let Wentz have the time that he has. And I think we're a better team.
Now, Chris from Facebook, he says, "Do you think he lost the love for the game? He just don't look into it anymore."
Oh my God, Jesus! Is this where we're at, man? My God.
I mean, that's a stretch. That's a reach.
That's a serious stretch.
But I mean, like some of these thoughts go through. I've seen this a couple times. I've heard like
they're blaming his kid. Like,
yeah, I see that. Yeah, fatherhood.
You know that meme where Dave Chappelle has all that money. He's like, oh,
yeah,
he has all that like, yo, you got all that money, man. You've absolutely made it. You cashed in. Regardless of whatever happens, the family is set. You got the ranch. You got your little hunting show. Everyone's set. The whole family's set. And he's been working his whole career to get to this moment. But I don't think I maybe comfortable. Like when they're like, oh, Carson Wentz is thick. 3 C's, Carson. And they're like, did he gain too much weight? He looked kind of slow. My brother's sitting there, he's like, yo, he looks slow, dude. Like I don't remember him looking this slow. Like,
well, they said he came into training camp 15 pounds heavier.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like Barrow could have beat him in a race.
So
you can tell that there was more preseason. They're all out of sync.
Yeah. That's the same thing I said last week about Doug was making his comments about this is we're preseason. We're in preseason. This is preseason still. And
that man.
I just don't get it. I don't see how you're looking at it. Because if this is preseason, guess what, Dougie? This would be game 3, and all your starters would be playing the longest time. So get it together, man.
I mean, Joe Burrow's a rookie. He didn't have no preseason. He looked like he was competent. His line was getting him killed, but he was still getting up and
he took a shot, man. Too.
Yeah.
He got laid out by Malik Jackson.
I will bring that up. That was pretty intense, dude.
But for him to bounce up from that, and I mean, you know what I mean. He had a good game today.
They brought in the backup.
Well, no, I'm saying he came back into the game though.
Yeah. And they showed him on the sideline, and he was saying, he's like, I'm fine.
Mm-hmm. He got cracked, man.
Ohio kid. What do you guys?
And
think
he
about,
jumped up a little bit right
Rodney
before
McLeod,
he threw that too.
Shot in the,
What
do you guys think about Rodney McLeod?
What's that?
The one he
The
was
Rodney
flagged
McLeod
for.
shot?
What do you guys? Yeah, I mean, flagged for.
I don't think it was a PI. I mean, that's that. I just or the hit. I mean, you talking about the hit?
When he with a headshot.
Oh yeah, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah,
I'm looking at this comment. I'm trying to make sense of it. Y'all ain't tough, bro. Burrow don't have kids at family. His offseason is different at this point.
Stop, man.
They're out trying to bring that boy family and his wife and his kids and stuff.
Man. That's got nothing to do with anything. Tom Brady's got a wife. He's got kids.
Yeah, I mean,
it ain't stopping him. Drew Brees got wife, kids. It ain't stopping him.
I mean, come on, man. Phillip Rivers has been in the league for like 16 years. He got like 20 kids, man. I don't want to hear that.
He can feel the whole team, bro.
Yeah, I don't want to hear that, man.
How many kids does Phil Rivers have?
I think 11.
Like 11 or something like that. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. And he takes them all by bus to every game. By bus, he does not fly on a team plane. He drives himself with his family and kids to every single game. I don't want to hear this crap about Wentz is distracted because
he can remember all their names and the playbook. I mean,
come on, man, and do virtual schooling. Let's go. Come on, stop this.
Now, before we get out of here, the comments are rolling in here. People, last week when we left, there's a lot of people in here. Well, I think we'll go for another 10 minutes. But before we head out of here, go around the room. Any final words of wisdom, Prime? What do you got for us?
You said me?
Yeah.
Let's see. I got to go to work tomorrow and deal with this bullshit. 13 more weeks of this shit. So I don't know, man. I'm trying to stay positive. Just take it one day at a time. At the end of the day, I'm never going to go ahead and quit on my team and go ahead and ride this thing out. But this is fucking horrible.
If you saw the dedication and the time and effort that Prime put in that room, and just to watch his Eagles play this year, the level of detail. We could have had Prime helping Doug Peterson out with the game plan, with the level of detail he put into that. So I feel your pain, man. I know you bleed green. It's unfortunate that all us Eagle fans have to see what we're seeing on the field. Philly's finest. What's your first name again, by the way?
Tim.
Any final thoughts for this?
Like he was saying, it's a tough week. We're all gonna go to bed tonight and wake up diehard Eagles fans on a Monday, but we're gonna be some pissed off people. And for me, I think that it goes to the whole entire team. We are sitting here, we've been on this for an hour and a half, and we can't even pinpoint one area that's the problem. So it's the whole team. The whole team needs to get a room full of mirrors, stand in front of it, reach down, grab those things, and get a check. And get it right. I don't understand. And like I said it in pregame. It starts with Doug. He is the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. It starts with you, man. I'm tired of hearing that it's preseason. I'm tired of hearing that you work on it. We got to fix it. We'll get it better. You were saying that 2 years ago, bro. Get it right. I just don't understand. You were able to do it with Nick Foles coming in here and making him look like, Aaron Rodgers. I don't understand. What you're telling me that Carson Wentz can't be better than what he's performing on the field right now? Come on.
Yeah, difficult. John. Look at John in deep thought over there. He's like,
No, I feel sorry for one guy. I feel sorry. I feel sorry for Jeff Stoutland. I really do. I think, look the way the guards played and look how many run plays that were called. But I think the spotlight is on Howard right now, not like in the next few weeks. I think Marty, I have nothing personal, nothing legitimate against Marty Morningweg, but Howie has to change shit. He has to take shit up. So I will let Marty the Memorial way, go. And I'll tell Doug, if you're not listening to Jeff Stoutland and running this ball, like you're in a hot. And to me, that's where it is. That's where it is. And maybe like secondarily, they need to find a head coach for Carson. I mean, he's like he needs his boyfriends. He needs McCown or he needs Foles. He's like the spotlight's on him, and he can't. He's not an independent person. He needs a boyfriend.
That's true.
I saw a comment with interesting. I think you all might have a comment on this. Eddie says, "Why are we playing the blame game? We sound like Cowboys fans, always blaming someone when they lose and when they win, or we are going to the Super Bowl. We have injuries all over the place. That is the big problem. 1 week of offense, 1 week defense. Aren't you blaming the game on injuries? Isn't it a whole next man?
That's a cop-out injury, man.
Yeah,
that's a cop-out excuse right now.
Sounds like a
they had an awful game.
Yeah. What are you gonna? What is your injury complaint about last year when Wentz was throwing the deck furniture? Where's that at?
I knew that would throw the gas in the fire. Everyone's like, yeah.
But for that to make sense, you don't have to watch the game. You look up who's active and inactive in the IR list for the game. You say I don't need to watch it. They lost. I know why they lost. We watched the game. We know why they lost. There are multiple reasons why they lost.
I mean, we could love to have an influx of healthy talent back. I mean, that would definitely help. You know what I mean? Like, we wouldn't have to deal with comments like Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown is a head case. Now, let's not forget.
Stop it.
Hey, Evan, what about you, man? What say you? You're in deep thought.
Yeah, man. What I have to say isn't anything positive. It's pretty simple in the fact that I'm going to build off of Tim's point. I think that there's a lot of identity issues in the locker room. I think a lot of people have to look at themselves in the mirror, but I think this fan base also has to take a look in the mirror and come to grips with what we're actually dealing with. We're not a simple one-step fix away from having a better football team. We're staring down the barrel of a pretty rough season. And that is not a good feeling. So I think you guys should get used to this. You should get used to the goth Evan look for the rest of the season, because that's how I'm feeling. I'm down in the dumps. So I'm going to be listening to some sad music. My goth hair.
About to drop a fucking emo album.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, dude, there's nothing positive to come from this. There's nothing positive to say. We have a regressing quarterback. Our future is completely up in the air, and that's where we stand right now. I want to see progress in the right direction.
There's some positives.
There's positives, but the negatives outweigh the positives tremendously. So, like to get excited about the positives, so you're just kind of neglecting all of the negatives at this point.
And the negatives are going to be straining for a little bit. I mean, these aren't quick fixes. This is not like Band-Aid stuff. You just bring a guy in and it's all good. I mean, these are things that we're even going to be looking at next year as issues.
Like Jason Peters, like our left tackle position with Andre Dillardale and Jason Peters being injured and old, that's not going to get better this year. Jordan Mailata isn't going to make that better this year. It's not going to make the situation easier for Wentz.
The one thing that I think about often the last couple of weeks is, fans do make a difference. And I feel like energy level is a huge thing. I know on third down, when you get in the stadium and people are rocking, hitting the seats, and the people are going ape shit, and on a third down, I think fans would have elevated a lot of this defensive play. I thought they brought some pass rush, but I think Joe Burrow would have been a little more shook with the whole stadium rocking. It's a whole different environment. So I feel like maybe the Eagle fans would have made a difference in a couple of these wins. I think the energy level would have been different. I think I do think we do, as like fans, have to realize that we've been dealing with this pandemic, right? So life for us is been crazy. Life has been crazy for NFL players, and I've seen this other thought on the timeline a lot, not just about our team, but about some of these NFL players don't really look like they're into it as much as they were in the past, because we are all dealing with the pandemic at this moment, Like people were like, "Oh, don't make an excuse," but pandemic's not an excuse. But like people have lost family members. I know Brandon Graham's lost some family members, but people have been dealing with a lot of stuff. I mean, Marcus Goodwin didn't, opted out this year. And these are players who've been playing football their whole lives. So if, at the end of the day, I think for this team to right the ship, I think it starts with Doug. And Tim mentioned it. I think Doug has got to stand there and look to his leaders in this locker room. He's got to look his players in the eyes. He has to look his coaches and get their plan right. And he has to look at himself in the mirror and ask himself, what am I doing wrong? But, if I can leave anything, man, check in with peoples. Obviously, we all appreciate you guys in the comments. Thank you, John and Tim, for joining us. Thank you guys in the comments. We're really enjoying this live stream and having interaction with you guys. It's always a blessing to have you guys come out and support us. But also check in on your friends and check in on their mentals. A lot of people are going through stuff they just won't tell you, so you got to ask them. But as always, man, it's fly Eagles fly, and we will catch you guys in the next one.